a presentation on why we have to be really, really careful about the devices that we are using every single day, especially if we have kids at home, and how can we actually protect ourselves and our family members from the danger, the unseen danger from our electronic devices. All right. So today we're going to learn a lot. We're going to have a lot of fun. Some of these things are going to be pretty new to you, but I'm sure these are nothing new, right? Our smartphones, everybody have this in their phone, in their handbags. So these are nothing new. But today we're going to discover exactly why we must be really careful, really, really careful, and what is emGuarde all about. Okay, so we're going to dive right in. Now, the first slide, I know there's this little girl there and a few photos, right? Because 20 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. I'm turning 30 this year. So 20 or 30 years ago, when I grew up, we never had iPads, right? We never had iPhones. We never had all these gadgets. We never had all these fancy things. What did we do as kids 20, 30 years ago? We played outside, right? We played football. We played games. We played hide and seek. We never had these devices. And you will notice people the kids who are growing up today, their immune system is not like the people before. Would you guys agree? Type 1 if you guys agree. Last time we can go play in the rain. We can play under the rain, sunshine. No problem, right? We can go to school tomorrow. But today, a lot of people, a lot of young kids especially, they get sick really easily. All right, they get fever very easily. The immune system is not as strong as people before. Why? Today, kids don't play outside as much anymore. Kids are always indoors and they're surrounded by devices, right? Laptops, iPads, especially playing games and that kind of stuff, right? So nonetheless, technology is here to improve our entertainment, improve our educational platforms so that kids can learn better, they can attend classes online. No doubt about that. But at the same time, what are the harms? What are the potential dangers that we could be exposing our young kids to by allowing them to roam with all these devices that is surrounding with them? Let me ask you guys this question. If you agree with me, type 1 in the chat box. Take a look at the little girl on the bed, right, with her phone like this on the bed, just watching something, right? Watching a cartoon or something. Do you think it's good for her? Do you think it's good for her eyes? Do you think it's good for her brain? Absolutely not. And because of that, I'm going to share with you a few news that happened recently and a few statistics that I believe everybody, especially young adults, should know. Now, this came out about a couple months ago, whereby France actually stopped the sales of iPhone 12. So if you go to France now, you can't buy an iPhone 12, right? That is because iPhone 12 have been shown to have very high or exceedingly high radiation levels. Okay, I just got my iPhone 14. I hope it's not too bad, but France actually stopped the sales of iPhone 12, and this is the same for a lot of phones out there. It's not that iPhone 12 has radiation and none of the other phones have. It's just that they have found out that iPhone 12 has over radiation, too much radiation. So for those of you watching this Zoom, if you're using the iPhone 12, just know that that phone of yours is actually over the limit. So this is just for your information. All right. Now, one statistic I want to share with you guys and why emGuarde, this technology brought in by Enagic, is such a beautiful product for the market. Now, this was a survey done in 2019. It's called the EMF Health Effects Survey. Now, EMF stands for electromagnetic frequencies. So these are frequencies, or we call it radiation, that is coming out from our devices. Okay. Now, this came out 5 years ago, and it was so interesting. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, wow. It says that health problems, okay, let me read out the whole title. The thing is blocking. It says that health problems related to EMF exposure. And remember, EMF stands for electromagnetic frequencies, right? Basically, electromagnetic radiation. Health problems related to it. 88% of sleeping problem, can be caused by radiation. Who here in the chat box, you have realized that you don't sleep as well as before? Maybe when you go on a holiday, you go on a nice holiday, you go somewhere like Bali, or you come to Malaysia, you go to the jungle, away from the city, you're always sleeping a lot better, right, when you're on a holiday. But how come when you come back home, or when you're in a city, or when you're back in your own room where there's phones everywhere, there's laptops everywhere, you don't sleep so well? Because 88% of sleeping problems is contributed by phones, by EMF exposure. Even 89% of fatigue is caused by these kind of radiations, okay? And the third one, which is something that is really important for children. It's the concentration, memory, or learning problems. 94% of the concentration, memory, or learning problem, okay, is contributed by EMF exposure. Can I just ask all 93 of you guys here? You guys, well, it's a big crowd tonight. It's nighttime here in Malaysia. It's 8:30 p.m. I don't know. Some of you are in Europe. It's still bright and sunny during the day, but it's 8:45, 8:50 here p.m. So who here? You have kids at home and they are just glued to devices. Type 2 in the chat box. You have an iPad for them, or maybe they are on the computer, or maybe phones or whatever, right? Devices, games, Nintendo, PlayStation, and all this kind of stuff. Take a look at this. 94% of concentration problem can be related to these devices. So we need to be really, really aware. And then we look at EMF devices around us. What is the one that affects our health the most? Our Wi-Fi is 86%. Our mobile phones is 78%. Smart meters, 77%. Cell or radio towers, people who live near to all these cell or radio towers, that's about 81%, very, very high. Power lines, electrical transformers or indoor wiring, 59%. That's why people always say, don't live near to a power line or electric station because it emits radiation. And the crazy thing about radiation, guys, is you can't see it. It's invisible. You can't smell it, but it affects you. All right. So what else do we have next? We have something called dirty electricity. So what is dirty electricity? Dirty electricity is the leakage of electricity. Example, you have an old fridge, really, really old fridge. And sometimes you'll notice, how come my fridge is consuming so much electricity compared to a new one? Because the wiring is old, therefore it's not as efficient anymore, and therefore the power is leaking out in the form of radiation. And it also affects our health. All right, computer, lights, cordless phone, microwave, cars, radar, so many stuff, or all kinds of different devices that is around our home. And that's why emGuarde just last year decided to launch this in Malaysia and Singapore as a starting market. That's why we are the first few countries to know about this. I know there are a lot of friends from Europe, maybe from the US, maybe from all parts of the world, maybe India, maybe Middle East. You guys don't have the emGuarde yet because emGuarde is launching the markets step by step to make sure that we have enough stock for the whole world and to make sure that the launch is very smooth. So introducing emGuarde Japan's latest patented technology, the emGuarde. And the EM stands for electromagnetic guard. So this device is patentedly designed to protect us from the harmfulness of electromagnetic radiation. All right, so double again. Okay, so question. All right, there's about 100 of us on this Zoom thread now. I want to ask you guys a question. If tonight, now you could be sitting in your living room watching this Zoom from your living room. What if you can actually see the radiation? It would be scary, isn't it? Can you imagine you're sitting in your living room and you can see white lines coming out from your television or your PC or your air conditioning or your speaker system, and it's just going across your entire living room. I'm pretty sure you guys would not have peace sitting in your living room and watch a movie for 2 hours, right? Because you can see it. But the thing is this, you can't see it. But what are we doing today? We are allowing our kids to spend 4, 5, 6 hours in environments like this, where today, after this Zoom, you will know it's actually filled, like what Jam said, it's a health hazard. Yeah? Filled with electromagnetic interference and radiation. Okay? So it's all around us and it is invisible. Okay, so what are the typical EMR sources? Okay, what are the typical EMR sources? The big kicker here is the mobile phone, because who here has more than one phone? Anybody? Anybody? Type me in the chat box if you have more than one smartphone. Type me. Very proud. Wow, it's me. Okay. But be honest, who here have more than one phone? I only have one. I never understood why people needed two. Okay. Maybe work, personal, or maybe one is for boyfriend one, boyfriend two, girlfriend one, girlfriend two. I don't know. Okay. So I only have one, but a lot of people have two. And they put it into their pockets, right? Some guys, when you wear coat, you put it next, in the pocket of your coat, and it's next to your heart. Phone is one of the biggest contributors of electromagnetic radiation, and it's one of the biggest contributors. And then we have PCs. A lot of people spend, who here you spend a lot of hours on your computer? All right. Type me in the chat box again. Sockets, microwave, lights, even your air conditioning is a form of radiation. And we have power lines, television, etc., etc. Okay. So you see, when we talk about radiation, radiation is a huge, huge topic. So if we talk about electromagnetic radiation, it's a huge topic. It's a huge spectrum. Now, on the extreme right of the spectrum, we have something called the ionizing radiation, which is the extremely high frequency, high energy radiation like X-ray, gamma ray. Even you're exposed to it for a short period of time, you can get DNA mutation, you can get damages to your cells and even death, okay? That's why a lot of people, they don't like to go through X-ray. Yeah, it's the truth, because there's actually a lot of radiation onto the body. But we're going to talk about something called the non-ionizing, which is lower on the wave of spectrum, okay? It's lower. It's not as dangerous as ionizing. However, long-term exposure to non-ionizing radiation between 3 megahertz to 1000 megahertz, that's the frequency bandwidth, has a lot of documented health risk, okay? So even though you look at it, 3 to 1000 megahertz, is it really that high? Let me just give you some context. 3 megahertz is 3 million hertz. That is the oscillation of the frequency, which means in 1 second, there's 3 million oscillations. So it's considered low, but it's not actually that low either. So it's also on the higher side. And why is the non-ionizing radiation between 3 to 1000 megahertz a really important topic for us to speak about? Right? Very simple. It's because based on a report from the FCC. Now, for those of you who don't know what FCC is is a short form for the Federal Communication Commission. So if you're from the US, every single electronic device, electrical appliance, any telecommunication device have to go through the FCC testing. So they test everything regards to frequencies, electrical, and all the kind of stuff. Now, in their report, which was issued in 1997, right? 1997 was more than 20 years ago. Now, they say this: the human body actually absorbs radio frequency energy at some frequencies more effective than others. At 30 to 300 megahertz, such frequencies can actually cause damage to cells' DNA, leading to an increased risk of cancer, mutation, and other health problems. Can you guys take a look at the bandwidth? Can somebody type that frequency bandwidth in the chat box? It is 30 to 300. The body, our human body, for some reason, later I'm going to give you the reason, for some reason, absorbs 30 to 300 megahertz the most. So we absorb a lot of it, a lot of the energy of the radiation in this bandwidth. Why? Very simple. Next chart, you'll understand why. Because our body's frequency, our organs, our brain, our liver, our heart, is all between this 30 to 300 megahertz. Our brain is at 72 megahertz. Our body is between 62 to 78 megahertz. Our heart, 67 to 70. Liver, 55 to 60. Pancreas, 60 to 80. So that is the main reason why our body actually absorbs this particular range the most. And when we absorb this particular range the most, that's bad news. All right? And because most of the devices that is around us emits radiation from this range. That's why we call it the non-ionizing radiation. Now, there's this very interesting book that was published in Malaysia called The Low-Level Radiation. I'm not sure you have similar books from your country. Some of you guys are from Europe, Middle East, or the West. You will look, nowadays, you will see a lot of journals online, articles online, where you have professors, you have doctors, you have researchers that talk about low-level radiation. And this particular book talks about low-level radiation, the invisible killer, growing threat from electromagnetic fields. Just look at the cover of the book. You can see that the computer is so fat. The phone is like the old Nokia phone. What does that mean? It means this book was written years ago. And years ago, at least 20 years ago, I'm guessing, years ago, they were already talking about low-level radiation could kill us. All right? So let me ask you a question. That old Nokia phone and my iPhone 14, which one do you think has more radiation? The Nokia, the old Nokia, or my iPhone? Type it in the chat box. What do you guys think? It's a silly question, right? This thing definitely has a lot more because there's so much more components. The battery is bigger. Everything is just bigger, and radiation is also bigger, right? So that's why we have to really be aware. So again, how do we actually tell, am I safe? Am I sitting in this environment? Am I in an environment where there's a lot of radiation or whether there's low radiation? The only way to find out is by using a measurement unit, some form of a detector. Okay, so now in emGuarde, the best way to test the radiation around your room between the frequency that affects us the most is what we call the RD. So it's a short form for radiation detector. Okay, so this RD, what we do with it is, those of you who already have it, okay, what you need to do is you just go around your house and just look for what are the places with very high levels of radiation. And you'll find out that a lot of places in our home is just through the roof. It's just overloading. And this came out 13 years ago in France, where even the WHO, the World Health Organization, classified radio frequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic to humans, based on an increased risk for glioma, a malignant type of brain cancer associated with wireless phone use. So guys, this is not new news. It's not news story. It's old story. People know these things are dangerous. And for those of you who are using Apple iPhone, you can even go to your settings, your general settings. In fact, we can do it together. Who here, turn on your camera, guys. Who here you're using iPhone, just put it into the camera. If you're using iPhone, yeah. So we're going to do an exercise together. We're going to do an exercise together. Those of you with iPhone, yeah, you can do this with me. I want you guys to go to settings, okay? You go to settings. So you go to your settings, okay? You go to your settings. So everybody can do it together for those of you who have iPhones. So you can show some of your family or your friends right after this Zoom. And then after that, you go to general. So you go on setting, and after that, you go to general. And I want you to scroll all the way down. You would see something called legal and regulatory. You would see that, okay? And after you click on legal and regulatory, you would see something called RF exposure. Click on it. Now you go to the fourth paragraph. What you will see is what I have highlighted in yellow on my screen. In the phones, in the Apple phones, even Apple themselves tell us to reduce exposure to RF energy. Means what? Means they agree there's a lot of RF energy, okay? And they're asking us to reduce the exposure. Use the hands-free option, such as the built-in speakerphone, headphone, or other similar accessories. So even companies like Apple, they put in clauses in their phones to make sure that in case we get a headache or we get some form of dizziness from using the phone too long, we can't sue the company because they already told us to use accessories and not to put the phone next to our head. Okay, so again, how do we tell what is safe, what is dangerous, what is what do you call that? What is what we call a blue zone? What do we call a green zone, a yellow zone, or a red zone? Now, according to the FCC, if the power, let's use the word power. I don't like to get too technical in my Zoom. If the power of the radiation is between 0 to 200, shown on the detector, it is called the acceptable range. Okay, it is called the acceptable range. However, anything above 200 microwatts, that's a unit measurement. If the power is above 200, 1,000, 2,000 and above, it is not safe according to the FCC exposure limit. All right, and if you expose yourself, long exposure to radiation from 200, 1,000 and above, you can experience things like ear sinus problem, concentration problem, in serious cases, brain cancer, memory loss, fatigue, dizziness, heart problem, infertility, headaches, muscle pain, eye soreness, immune system problem, sleeping problem, which is a huge thing, stress and anxiety problem, DNA mutation, and even skin and irritation. A lot of people suffer from these things, and they have no idea it actually comes from their devices. Just by some response. Who here you charge your phone in your room? Anybody? I mean, it doesn't have to be next to your head, but do you charge it next to your desk, your table somewhere? Type 1 in the chat box if you do charge your phone in your room. And a fun fact for all of you guys, when you have your phone in your room, the radiation from your phone affects you between 1 all the way to 3 meters. So just because it's not next to your phone, like next to your head like this, does not mean it's not affecting you. So a lot of people already adopted that. I know families that they don't allow their kids to charge their phones in the room. Everything has to be charged outside. All right, things like that. And so just a fun fact for you guys. So I'm going to share with you guys a video. Now, we talk about phones, we talk about laptops. I also want to talk about something called the high tension wire, or you may have a different name for it in your country. People call it power lines, electric lines, high tension wire. So these are the electrical lines, right? So what you're going to see in this video is one of our colleagues, he went back to his old home here back in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and he brought the detector with him, and he wanted to find out how much radiation is being bombarded onto his old home, because his old home has a high tension wire about 80 meters away. That's about 200-300 feet away. So it's not near, but it's also not far. So if for those of you who are living near to wires like this, you guys need to take a look at how much radiation we're actually exposing ourselves to.
This is where I used to live, and across the road.
So you guys see, you can see it's about 80 meters,
high tension cable.
about 100 meters.
Let me show you what I mean by very high density of electric field intensity.
That's the detector.
If you notice, right, when I turn on the detector, as you can see, the entire airspace around my house is 1500 microwatts. Now this direction is where the high tension cable is not behind the ring, so there is nothing there. But once I move the detector towards the high tension cable, if you notice,
1800,
the reading is between
1800.
1800 microwatts to 2000 microwatts steadily.
So if you guys see that shows the number 1, this is the old model detector. It shows the number 1 the moment the power density of the radiation exceeds 2000 microwatts. And according to the FCC, anything above 200 is considered unsafe. But now you're talking about 2000. Who here, after seeing this, you agree with me that there's unseen danger all around us? Type 1 in the chat box. Now, this is just one of the sources, and you can see it is steadily shooting about 1500, 1800, or above 2000 microwatts of power, of radiation onto his old home. Now, thank God he no longer lives there. He lives somewhere else. But a lot of people are suffering from this, and they don't even know about it. They live very near to these kind of places. And it's not the best. So the next one I want to share with you guys is from our phones and our laptops. And in this one, what you're going to see here is also how the emGuarde works. What happens when you have, you have your laptop and your phone. So what happens when you have the emGuarde and you turn it on, and what's going to happen? All right, take a look at this.
Alright, so for those of us who are constantly on our mobile phones, on our laptop, let's test how much radiation we're actually exposed to. Alright, so I'm going to use my radiation detector. So the phones are emitting tremendous amounts of radiation. Alright, and let's look at our laptops. Equally bad as well. Alright, so what we're going to do now, we're going to plug in the emGuarde by Energic. Okay, just like that. So it's turned on now. And we're gonna go back to the phone.
Take a look at that.
It is completely zero, and the laptop is zero as well when the emGuarde is turned on. So currently now my entire space here is without any harmful radiation with emGuarde. So change your environment, change your life.
So guys, I don't know if you guys saw that, but once the emGuarde is turned on, what happened to the detector? When I put it back onto the laptop or to the phone, what was the reading? Can somebody put it in the comment box? It is 0. Okay? It went to 0 because when emGuarde is turned on, the technology is designed to suppress to suppress the frequency range, all the radiation that is actually coming out from our phones, and it actually suppresses it to make sure that it does not do us any harm. Who here you like the emGuarde so far already? I've not even got to the juicy part of the presentation, by the way. If you like what you have seen so far, give me a number one in the chat box, because emGuarde is truly an amazing technology. Enagic is launching it at such a perfect time, because today it is these kind of moments where people are just surrounded by technology without knowing what are the potential harms that could be coming their way, and now they have come up with a solution. I believe every great product is here to solve a problem, and emGuarde is going to be one of them. It is one of them. Okay, so when I turned on the emGuarde in that video, it completely went to zero. Okay, so I'm going to share with you even more, right, before I go into the business side of things, even more about why emGuarde is so relevant today and why it would really help not just ourselves, but a lot of our customers as well. Now, her name is Dr. Magda Havas. She's Canadian. She's from Canada, and she's a researcher. She's a professor. Now, she researches and teaches in the areas of environmental health effects of something called electrosmoke. Now, she used the word electrosmoke because she believes, not belief is the wrong word. She is telling us that electromagnetic frequencies, it is a real pollution. You know, you have air pollution, you have water pollution, right? Electromagnetic radiation is another form of pollution. But the scary thing is it's invisible, there's no smell, and you can't see it. So she calls it electrosmoke. And her work focuses on the biological effects of electromagnetic radiation. She wants to find out exactly how does it affect the human body. All right, so take a look at this. Now, she has conducted studies on live blood analysis. So she wanted to find out, how does radiation affect even our blood? Yeah, our blood. And take a look at the bottom photo. The photo in the middle on the bottom. In a healthy red blood cell in a clean EMR environment. So what is a clean EMR environment? A clean EMR environment is basically, maybe you're living in a resort somewhere in the jungle or by the beach, or maybe your home, you're somewhere secluded. There's no power lines, there's no internet, there's no phones. You're not affected. So our red blood cells are supposed to be free flowing in a healthy environment. Okay. Now take a look at this. When you expose yourself to about 70 minutes, about an hour of computer usage, something called the rouleau formation starts to form. What is the rouleau formation? It is basically our red blood cells stacking one on top of each other, creating a ring of red blood cells. All right. Now, those of you who are here at the start of the presentation, I would have played a video, and a very prominent Malaysian doctor, Dr. Roland Victor, has mentioned that when you have red blood cells stacking on top of one another, the carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange is at its lowest efficiency, because the surface area of the red blood cells is at an all-time low. So you want it to be free-flowing so that the oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange is efficient. But when you stack it on top of each other, you get poor circulation, low oxygen transport, reduced waste removal, even numbness, concentration problem, etc., etc. All right. Now, let me ask you this. Who here, you have used your phone and sometimes you even feel the tingling sensation on your fingertips? Anybody? Or maybe you're on the phone talking to your friend, and after talking to them for 10 minutes, your ears start to heat up and it starts to become a little bit sweaty. That is because the blood in those areas are starting to actually stack together. And take a look at this, 10 minutes. 10 minutes after using a mobile phone, the rouleau formation is even worse, right? It's even worse. Okay, so, oops, somebody's calling. Let me just put that off. Sorry. Okay, so rouleau formation. Now I want to show you guys that experiment that we have also done with our team members here in Malaysia, and we actually went to a clinic to get this administered. Oh, something, sorry about that. That's my dog. He wanted to get out. Sorry. Okay. So we actually administered a blood test among our team members, and this is actually the blood sample of one of my downlines 20 minutes after mobile phone usage without the emGuarde turned on. So he was shocked, all right? And he saw his blood cells all stacked together. And the next slide is continue to use the phone for 20 minutes, but with the emGuarde turned on. I want you guys to look at the difference. So he continues to use the phone for 20 minutes, but with the emGuarde turned on. Take a look at that. Now I believed in the product because, you know, when emGuarde launches something, we just have to believe it. Because emGuarde is a $1 billion company and they only bring in the best stuff, like Kangen machine now with emGuarde. So I believed in it, but I wanted to see it for myself. And when I saw this blood sample myself, I was blown away. I've never seen anything. And by the way, when this whole experiment was done, the emGuarde was like 3-4 meters away. He was not even holding it, or he was not even right next to it. It was like 3-4 meters away, and it could actually do this to his blood to make it healthy and free flowing again. Now, anybody blown away by this difference? Type 2 in the chat box. I was blown away. He didn't eat anything, he didn't drink anything, and he was able to do this, right? So the easiest thing for you to do is this. These kind of microscopes, these blood tests, they are readily available everywhere. You can go to a clinic. Some of you may even want to buy a microscope yourself. It costs a couple $100. It's not very expensive. You can even do it for yourself and take a look at the results. It's mind-blowing. Yeah, I've done it many times for some of my team members. Okay, so that is our blood circulation. So we need to make sure our blood is not stacked together. We need to make sure that our blood is free flowing. Of course, drinking the Kangen water is one thing, and now we also have to protect ourselves from radiation with the emGuarde. Okay, now the last experiment I want to share with you guys. This is very relevant for those of you who have some friends or maybe yourself that suffers from eye problems. Now, Dr. Liu right here, he's a Taiwanese doctor. He's an eye specialist, and he owns an emGuarde, and he recommends emGuarde to a lot of his eye patients because he knows that emGuarde actually helps people to improve their eye health. Anybody have eye issues? Can you type, let's say, 1 in the chat box? Eye issues means maybe you're short-sighted, maybe you suffer from astig, or maybe you need a lot of, you're always on contact lens, or maybe you suffer from dry eyes. You know, these are all eye problems, right? It doesn't have to be a very serious problem. So what Dr. Liu did, he did an experiment. So take a look at the three experiments: stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Now, stage 1, he got about 10 of his eye patients, and he recorded their eye blood flow, the blood flow of their eyeball. And the average blood flow is 20.1 cm per second. That's how fast the blood flow is. The second stage is he turned on the he got all of them to turn on their mobile phones and to use it for 30 minutes, maybe watching YouTube or whatever. Okay, take a look at the blood flow. It went from 20.1 to 16.2. That's a 20% drop in the blood flow just by 30 minutes of mobile phone usage. Let me ask everybody here a question. Do we use our phones for 30 minutes a day or much more than that? What do you guys say in the chat box? What do you think? By the way, those of you who are using smartphones or Apple iPhones, there is even an app that calculates how many hours we are using our phone a day. All right. So the simple answer is I believe most of us spend a lot more than 30 minutes a day on our phones. Could be 2, 3, 4, even up to 5, 6 hours a day from our phones. All right. That's why now you see a lot of people walking around with thick glasses, right? 30 years ago, people never wore glasses because of all that kind of stuff. Okay? It reduced the blood flow. And the last stage, he turned on the emGuarde, and the blood flow went from 16.2 and shot all the way up to 25.9. Unbelievable. It was even higher than stage 1 because when the emGuarde is turned on, don't forget, it's not just harmonizing the radiation from your phone, it's also harmonizing the radiation around you. So whatever radiation that was being emitted onto these 10 people, could be the lights, could be the air conditioning, once the emGuarde is turned on, it also harmonizes the entire environment. So if you know some of your friends or family that suffers from eye health, get them the emGuarde, get them to buy the emGuarde, share this information with them. invite them onto this Zoom to check out more on this emGuarde, because it could easily or potentially solve their eye problem. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the emGuarde. It is a harmonizer. It is a defender. It defends our family. It harmonizes the frequency, and it's low maintenance. It's a nice, very slick black box, right? The designer of the emGuarde have tried to make the emGuarde as small as possible so that we can actually carry it around, bring it on planes. Because for those of you who travel a lot, you definitely need an emGuarde, because when you're sitting on the plane, okay, guess what? When you're sitting on the plane, the seat of the plane, what's behind your head? It is the screen with tons of wiring running through your seat for the screen for your neighbor behind, right? So you're actually just leaning on a screen which has tons of radiation. So now everywhere I go, everywhere I travel, I plug in the emGuarde. On the plane, everywhere I travel to a hotel where they have all these fancy LED lights everywhere, I turn on the emGuarde as well. And my sleep has never been better. I'm sleeping a lot better with emGuarde. Yeah, and it's so easy to carry around. It's quick to set up, easy to use, and it has a minimum lifespan of 5 years. It could even last you 10 years, 15 years, we never know. But according to the manufacturer, it is 10 years. The weight of the emGuarde is stated right there is 430 grams. Okay, it's stated 430 grams, so it's really, really light. Okay, and just now we talk about the coverage, right? So emGuarde covers us 8 meters. Okay, so it is 4 by 4 radius, 8 meters of diameter, and it is a bubble. It creates a bubble of coverage. Okay, so once you have one in the living room, it basically covers your entire living room. But of course, if you live in a huge house, you may need more than one. Okay, so look at your home. Where are the places that you spend a lot of time in, where you have a lot of devices? Those are the places that you need to make sure is within the range of the emGuarde. Okay, so 8 meters of defense. All right, so I'm coming to the ending of my product explanation so far, but I need to end with this. I need to actually share with you guys how the technology actually works. It works by breaking the pathway of the frequency. Okay, it works by breaking the pathway of the frequency. Let me just do something. Animation, yep. Oops, accidentally. Sorry, let me bring up the slide again. Where were we? How emGuarde works, all right? So how emGuarde works is it is designed to break the pathway of the frequency. Okay, so all radiation requires a pathway to travel, so the energy affects us. But once the emGuarde is turned on, within the coverage range, you are protected because it breaks the pathway. That's why when you put the detector onto the phone, but with the emGuarde turned on, it shows 0, right? Because within the bandwidth that emGuarde protects you, which is between 3 megahertz to 1000 megahertz, you are fully protected from the radiation. And this is actually a lab report done in Shenzhen, China, on the effectiveness of emGuarde. On the left is before emGuarde is turned on, and they test the radiation frequency coming up from a mobile phone, all right? A radiation source. So you can see the frequency is like this, right? It's going up and down like a chart, right? And on the right, that's where the emGuarde is turned on. What do you see to the lines? It's all, boom, it's all cut. It's not connected anymore. Okay, the power from the radiation is all cut off. Therefore, it's lost its pathway to travel. So when energy doesn't have a pathway to travel, it just gets destroyed or disseminated. Okay, and that is what the emGuarde actually doing. It is actually cutting the pathway. So that's why when you put the detector onto your mobile phone, it shows 0. So when I saw the demo for the first time, I immediately bought 2 units. Subsequently, I bought another unit for the travel because I did some calculation for my home. I need about 2 to 3 units at home to make sure that my whole house is fully covered. I live in a 260 square meter house. So I need about 3 units. Maybe if you're living in a 100 square meter or 1000 square feet house, maybe you need 1 or 2. I would say a minimum is 2 because you do have different areas in the house to cover. And in terms of business, you know, a lot of our customers, they buy more than one because they want to make sure they want to cover their children's room, their computer room, their living room. So we're talking about multiple unit sale for emGuarde. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the emGuarde. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to explain what this technology is all about to you. The slogan for emGuarde is an environment harmonizer, and emGuarde has chosen a really nice slogan for it, very in line with the Kangen Water slogan, called "Change Your Environment, Change Your Life." emGuarde believes that if every home has an emGuarde, people are going to be sleeping better. People are going to feel less tired working on a computer all day. They're going to feel so much health benefits by turning on the emGuarde. And this is just another, oops, is somebody controlling the screen? Sorry, can we stop that? Somebody's controlling the screen. Somebody called Lily. Okay, I'm gonna, it could be a kid or something. Okay, somebody is controlling the screen. Let me share it again. So guys, please don't simply click on the Zoom, yeah? It's gonna mess up the flow a little bit. Let me just get back. Okay, where were we? Okay, the environment harmonizer, right? Cool. All right, so I want to say something. I want to say something about this product. Who here, after seeing this presentation on the emGuarde, you already want to own an emGuarde yourself? Type 1 in the chat box. You already want to own it. And you want to put it in your house. You want to share it with your family. Okay? Type emGuarde in the chat box if you already want to own it. Okay, so let's see the response. So let's see the market response. Because for a lot of you guys, emGuarde is not in your market yet. Okay, so let's see. Very good. It's a lot of response. Okay. All right. Let me look at the price. So Reem said 1 times 100. So Reem probably lives in a big house because she needs 100 emGuardes. Okay, Doublet, Bassam, we got Mary, Francisco, Mihaly, yes, ASAP, Dharmesh. Yep, I know about the user. I think the user is probably hacked. I've already removed the user. Thank you. Okay, so okay, Angel says, I think we don't have this in Japan for now. Yep, it's not available in Japan as of now, but through our meetings with headquarters, they will be launching all over Asia the next 1 or 2 months. They will be launching in Europe very soon, and subsequently the rest of the world. All right, so for those of you who don't have it yet in your branch, just be a little bit patient. Mr. Oshiro would like to launch this smoothly throughout the entire world because they need to make sure there's enough emGuardes for everybody. You know, if they launch it at one go, maybe he's just afraid that there won't be enough for everybody because this is a new product, you know, so stuff like that. So just be a little bit patient. And if you want to get your emGuarde, if you can't wait, you're like, I cannot wait, I need to have this product. You can always come to Malaysia and pick up your own unit. Yeah, as a user. Okay. I literally have a lot of my downlines that time were from Dubai or other countries or Philippines. They came to Malaysia and they bought their own emGuardes and they left Malaysia and they bought some for their friends and family. Okay, so this is what I have to share about the product, and I'm glad to know that a lot of you guys love the technology. So we also can't wait for it to expand to the rest of the world. Okay, so now coming to the business. Now there are some of you who are new to emGuarde. I believe there are a lot of people that are already emGuarde distributors, but I'm going to run through the business plan for emGuarde, okay, and the opportunity behind emGuarde. So as we know, emGuarde is a huge company. All right. Now, who is already a emGuarde distributor? Type emGuarde in the chat box. All right. So Angel says, thanks for information. You'll just wait. Can't travel for now. No problem. Yeah, no problem. So For those of you who can wait. If you can't wait, come to Malaysia and pick it up. So if you're already an eNAGIC distributor, fantastic. You know what this means for eNAGIC distributors? Now, the Kangen machine is amazing. We know this. We're all in eNAGIC because of the Kangen machine. I've been selling Kangen machines in Dubai, in India, in Turkey, and I spent about 1 year in Nigeria to launch the eNAGIC business in Nigeria. That's why they opened up the office in Nigeria last year, because I spent about a year to develop the business. And people love Kangen machine all around the world. All right. And as you can see, 25 countries with 42 locations. This is eNAGIC. All right. Now, how I see this, they're coming in with a totally different product, but with the same purpose of helping people achieve true health. All right. So Kangen water is the best water machine. And now we have emGuarde, the absolute best machine out there to help people with electromagnetic radiation. And the timing of introducing this into eNAGIC is phenomenal. So a lot of us, we could have hundreds of Kangen clients. Some of us have thousands of Kangen machine customers. Guess what? When you have emGuarde, you can go back to each and every one of your clients to share with them about the emGuarde technology. You could instantly get 100, 200, 300 sales. That's number one. Number two, because of the technology, you're also opening up to a new market segment that has not even bought Kangen machines yet, and you can get them into eNAGIC with emGuarde. Now, let me ask everybody a question. Would you agree? Oh, Angel, eNAGIC from Japan, great. All right. So would you guys agree? There are a lot of people out there that have not bought their Kangen machine yet, or have not even heard about Kangen machine yet. Type 1 in the chat box. So Josh Phil asked, emGuarde is made in Japan or in Malaysia? emGuarde is made in Malaysia. It is a Malaysian invention. That's why it is launched in Malaysia and Singapore first. Yeah? So it's a Malaysian invention. So would you agree that a lot of people have not bought the Kangen machine or not heard of Kangen machine yet? So the market is still huge for Kangen water. However, there's also a lot of people that own Kangen machines. Example, your customers. But now emGuarde is a complete ground level opportunity. Yeah. So I think that's very important for us to talk about. So what makes eNAGIC different? For those of you who are new to eNAGIC, we're coming to 50 years this year. Time tested and proven. We have amazing machines that last a lifetime. We have offices all around the world. It's a global company. All right. And even giving a lot of people like myself, a lot of people on this Zoom, a great business opportunity. And the eNAGIC business is amazing. Now, all you need to do is to invest in one of eNAGIC's products, Kangen machine, and now with the emGuarde. So you can become an eNAGIC distributor with the emGuarde as well. And the emGuarde now retails for $1,480 before taxes. That is about a third of the cost of a Kangen machine. So what that means is it also allows for a lower entry for a lot of people that wants to come into this business. Are you guys following what I'm saying? Type 1 if you follow what I'm saying. That's $1,500. It's a lot lower entry compared to the Kangen machine, because let's be fair, not everybody can afford the Kangen machine. Yeah, even though they want to. But the emGuarde is pretty affordable. Yeah, and they can come into the business with the emGuarde. There's no money qualification, no inventory, no renewal, group accumulative sales, a global business. I do my business globally. All right. Patented compensation plan, legacy income, and untapped market, especially now with emGuarde. It's a totally untapped market. Even Japan doesn't have emGuarde now. Even the US does not have emGuarde now, or Europe. It is a ground level opportunity. And the commission system, everything follows the eNAGIC 8-point system and all the other commission system. Okay, so I'm gonna make it very short and concise for you guys. So how it actually works is it follows the eNAGIC patented 8-point system with the direct and indirect sales. So we're going to have our customers, and our customers, when they refer customers, is called indirect sales, and the total is called group sales. Okay, group sales. So we know this, and we know the career path of eNAGIC and how it actually works. Now, what I want to share here is this: the 8A or 8-point commission for emGuarde. Now, every single emGuarde, the company allocates a budget of $520 per sale for the distributors. Now this $520 constitutes the 8-point commission and is divided into 8 parts, or we call it 8 A's, where 1A is $65. Now, I'm going to pause right here. Those of you who are new and those of you who are already in emGuarde, the commission system is actually a little bit different. A lot of people say, huh? What do you mean? Now, if you are a emGuarde distributor, which means you already bought a Kangen machine before, means you're already in the system, you already own a Kangen machine. Now, your commission is not $65, it is $80 every 1A, which means emGuarde is giving preference to those loyal customers, loyal distributors that bought the Kangen machine or bought the Wukon or the NSPA. You guys will be earning more commissions when you're selling the emGuarde. $65 every 1A is for distributors who join emGuarde just with emGuarde. Do you guys understand what I just said? Can you type 2 if you understand what I just said? But I choose to show you the lower commission just to be conservative, okay? Just to be conservative. Okay, so how the emGuarde system works is this. If you're a 1A distributor, you make $65 every sale of emGuarde. This is in US dollars, okay? US dollars. All right, first sale, 65, second sale, 65. But once you do your third sale, now you start to earn 2A commission with $130. Okay, this follows the emGuarde system. And once you get to 3A, you start to earn $195 every emGuarde. Pretty cool. And all you need to do is have 10 cumulative emGuarde group sales. And once you achieve 20 cumulative emGuarde group sales, now you're at 4A and your commission is $260. And once you are at 50 cumulative emGuarde group sales, you're at 5A, which makes it $325. And to become 6A, you need 200 emGuardes to become 6A, because for those of you who understand 6A, you need $300,000 of sales value. Therefore, you need 200 emGuardes if you're only selling emGuarde to become 6A, okay? And your commission will be at $390. Now, for those of you who are already in emGuarde, once again, let me reiterate, your commission would be around 30% higher than what I'm actually showing you. If you're understanding that, it's good, okay? So, as we know, this business is all about duplication, guys. If you bring in your distributors, even at a 1A lane, when they buy the emGuardes from you, you make $65. When you bring somebody on your 2A lane, you make $130. But every time your team starts to duplicate, okay, you start to earn $65 US on every single sale that comes from your 1A lines. So this is a duplicable system. It's basically earning income, building a business that makes you earn income even when you're traveling or even when you're asleep. This is the beauty of the emGuarde system. All right. So once you get on to 2A, every single sale, you're going to earn $130. Not only that, when your downline starts to sell, you also earn $130. Okay. Now, once you have a total cumulative sales of 10, you bring in the next person, you make $195. Now, some people may ask, if somebody buys an emGuarde, can they sell the Kangen machine? Answer is yes, and they receive full commission. Now, people also ask, so does it mean that I can sell 10 emGuardes and become a 3A? Answer is also yes. So emGuarde is a way for a lot of people that can go from 1A to 3A, 4A, 5A in a really short span of time, right? Because every emGuarde is counted as one group sale from 1A to 5A, okay? So just take a look at this, guys. If you can build teams around the world, even in your own country selling emGuardes, you'll be making a lot of overriding income. From your 2A line, that will be $130 every single sale. Okay, so how deep does it go? As we know, it is the 8A system. So the company only pays 8A commission. So let's have a look how many A commission each distributor is earning. So when John sells one emGuarde to Don, he earns a 1A commission. So from the 8A, 1A is paid to John. Now, Bob is the second person to get paid. Bob will earn 2A commission. Why? Because John is under his 2A line. Therefore, he earns 2A. Ani earns 2A. Kim also earns 2A. Okay? So if you take a look at that, there is 7 A's paid out from Don's machine. The balance of 1A will follow up to you. Therefore, you still make $65. So the overriding is amazing, guys. It goes so deep, all right? But the company also shows you exactly who gets how much. So it's a very transparent system. Okay, so on the second sale, you still make another 65. But when it is the third sale, when John does the third sale, now he starts to earn two-way commission, Bob two-way commission, Arnie two-way commission, Kim two-way commission. Only when you have this, only when the entire 8A is paid out, you stop earning from the overriding. But from all your other lanes, you continue to earn $65, $130, $195. And when you open up your 4A line, every machine they sell, you make $260. When you get to 5A, as I mentioned, you can have 50 group sales of emGuarde and become a 5A. And let's say you bring me into the system, every emGuarde I sell for you is $325. Can you imagine? Because emGuarde is so easy to sell, it's only about $1,500. If Simon goes out and sells 10 emGuardes for you a month, that's $3,250 of overriding bonuses for you alone. And just imagine this, you can have 10, 20 Simons selling 10 emGuardes for you a month. Would that be good to have 10 of me selling 10 emGuardes a month for you? Would that be good? If that's good, type number one in the chat box. And it's possible. It's already happening to a lot of distributors in Malaysia and Singapore. A lot, you know, because people get excited, new product, and they're going out, they're selling 10, they're selling 20, some is selling 5, some groups are selling 20. They're going crazy, right? Because people believe in the emGuarde system, all right? And once you become a 6A, oops, all right, every unit now is $360, and every time they sell is $360, okay? So this is the emGuarde compensation plan. So it's very similar. For those of you who know about the emGuarde compensation plan, it is the same thing. The only difference is the commission amount.
Recording stopped.
So I have a few announcements to make. The first one is this month, emGuarde Hong Kong and emGuarde Philippines, those of you who are from these two countries, will be officially launching the emGuarde. So those of you who are from Philippines or from Hong Kong, this month, emGuarde in those two branches will be launching emGuarde. And you would be receiving all the information about the launch in the Telegram group. Now, there is a Telegram group where people follow everything in regards to emGuarde. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to post the link of the Telegram group. Okay. I'm going to post the link. One second. How do I do it? Like this. Okay. I'm going to post the link of the Telegram group. Okay. Me highly asked, is there any non-8A commission? Now, for emGuarde, there is no education allowance, if that's what you're asking. There is no education allowance for emGuarde, but other than education allowance, every emGuarde is considered 0.5 group sale for 6A and above bonuses. So I'm speaking to the 6A and above. Okay, so if you know about your 6A2 bonus or whatever, it is considered 0.5 for every one sale. Just like the Ukon DD is 0.3, emGuarde is 0.5. Okay, so there's no education allowance, but for every bonus after that, it is considered 0.5. So I'm posting the Telegram group. I'm seeing a lot of new faces for today's Zoom. So I'm guessing you guys are not in the Telegram group. This is the official group. This is not my group. It's the official group. Click onto it, join it. There's about 800 plus subscribers at the moment. That's where you will find out all the presentation slides, the information, the websites, the files, what else? Everything in regards to emGuarde is in the group. Okay, so please join the Telegram group, and more importantly, you will also receive the events, the launching events that will be happening around the world for emGuarde. In case you are from those countries or you have team members in those countries, you want to plug them in. So just to let you guys know, next Tuesday, the 23rd of January, we are doing a launch event. We are helping the Hong Kong office to do the launch event. Now, because from Malaysia, a bunch of us are very proficient, or we are the ones that know about the emGuarde the most. A lot of the branches around the world are inviting people like me and my colleague to travel around the world to do trainings for the distributors in other countries. And we don't mind, because we love to travel and we love to share the mission of Mr. Oshiro, which is to help spread true health. So join the Telegram group. You will find all the details on the Telegram group. So Reem asked, will the Hong Kong and Philippines office have emGuarde stock? Answer is yes. So Hong Kong and Philippines will have the stock in the office by this month. Exact what day, I don't know, but it will be happening whether this week or next week. Okay? So they will have the stock in their branches for Hong Kong and Philippines. Okay? So can I just see by some response from the chat box, where are you guys from?